the DJI Pocket 4 just crossed a very important line. A few days ago, this was still leak territory. Now, it looks like a product that's already sitting in stores, and that changes everything because we're no longer looking at early renders or internal documents. We're looking at fully boxed retail units, including the creator combo appearing on shelves. Not prototypes, not test units, actual products ready to be sold. And at the same time, we now have a specific launch date starting to circulate, April 20th, 2026. That date didn't come from a random leaker, it came from a retailer, which is a very different level of signal. Retailers don't usually throw out dates unless they have stock timelines or internal scheduling, so suddenly this isn't speculation anymore. This is a product that looks ready. And when you combine that with everything we've already seen over the past few months, the timeline starts to make sense. Earlier leaks pointed toward a March or April launch window. Now we're seeing retail units, shipping activity, and listings outside China, including places like Colombia. That suggests DJI isn't doing a slow rollout this time. This looks like a near global launch from day one. Now let's talk about what's actually inside, because this is where things get more interesting. At first glance, the Pocket 4 doesn't look like a major upgrade. It still uses a 1-inch sensor, just like the Pocket 3, and that's exactly why a lot of people were initially disappointed. But once you look deeper, it becomes clear this camera isn't about changing the sensor, it's about upgrading everything around it. Guys, let's start with resolution. The Pocket 4 is expected to push into 6K video at 60 frames per second. That's a significant step up from the Pocket 3's already solid 4K performance. And this isn't just about having a bigger number. Higher resolution gives you more flexibility. You can crop your footage, reframe shots, and still maintain quality. For content creators, that's a practical advantage. Now, the reason this is even possible comes down to the sensor output. While the sensor size stays the same, it's now expected to support around 50 megapixel stills. That's a major jump from the Pocket 3's roughly 9 megapixels. More pixel data means more information to work with, which allows the camera to capture higher resolution video and process it more effectively. But it's important to stay realistic here. A higher megapixel count doesn't automatically mean better low light performance. The sensor size hasn't changed, so overall light capture remains similar. Any improvements in low light will likely come from better processing, not hardware. And that's where DJI tends to be strong. They'll likely use techniques like pixel binning to combine data from multiple pixels and produce cleaner, more balanced images in challenging conditions. Now let's talk about stabilization. The Pocket 3 already had one of the best compact gimbal systems available, but it wasn't perfect. One limitation was Z-axis movement, that slight vertical bounce you notice while walking. The Pocket 4 is expected to move toward a 4-axis hybrid stabilization system, possibly with some form of internal suspension. If that's accurate, it should reduce that vertical bounce and make handheld footage feel even smoother in real-world use. This is the kind of upgrade you don't notice on a spec sheet, but you definitely feel when you're using the camera. Next is tracking. Active Track is expected to move from version 6.0 to Active Track 7.0. The focus here seems to be on smarter subject tracking. Instead of just locking onto a subject, the system should better predict movement, maintain framing, and handle more complex situations like partial obstructions or changing distances. Again, this is refinement, not reinvention. Now let's move to usability, because this is where DJI clearly listened to feedback. The Pocket 4 features a slightly longer and more ergonomic handle, making it easier to grip during longer shooting sessions. There's now a dedicated physical zoom button placed exactly where your thumb rests, along with a new customizable C button for quick access to settings. These are small changes individually, but together they make the camera much easier to operate without constantly touching the screen. And that matters more than it sounds. There's also continued integration with the DJI Mic 2 ecosystem with native receiver-free connectivity, which simplifies wireless audio setup significantly. And on top of that, we're seeing new accessories like an LED light module clearly aimed at vloggers shooting in low light conditions. So overall, this isn't a redesign, it's a refinement of everything that already worked. Now let's talk about battery and pricing. The Pocket 4 is expected to feature a battery around 1,545 milliamp hours, which should improve recording time compared to the Pocket 3. Pricing is starting to take shape as well. The base model is expected to land somewhere between $499 and $599, while the Creator Combo could fall between $649 and $749. That keeps it in line with DJI's usual positioning, and considering the upgrades, especially resolution, stabilization, and usability, it makes sense. But here's the key point. If you were expecting a dramatic upgrade, this might not be it. But if you were expecting a camera that fixes the small things that matter in everyday use, this is exactly that. And then there's the final piece, the Pocket 4 Pro, because while the standard Pocket 4 focuses on refinement, the Pro version, like with its rumored dual camera system, is still in the background. And now that the standard model is clearly close to launch, the Pro version starts to feel much more real as well. So this isn't just one product launch, it's the beginning of a broader update to the entire Pocket lineup. And based on everything we've seen so far, we're right at the edge of it. Now it's just a matter of when DJI decides to make it official.